For Representative Cowan. Recently, the House of Representatives passed H.R. 1586 that promises to provide $10 billion for aid to school districts, local districts, to prevent layoffs in elementary and secondary schools, reportedly saving an estimated 161,000 education jobs nationwide and 5,700 jobs in the state of Georgia. Some opponents of the measure have characterized this as a bailout. How do you balance the needs of education against an increasing deficit?
Well, one thing I think we need to keep asking ourselves, who's paying the bill? How are we going to pay this if we keep sending more and more money from the federal government to the states? Who's going to end up paying for this? I think one thing that worries me the most is that we right now are mortgaging the future of our children and grandchildren by continually bailing out and increasingly sending more money to the states from the federal government. You know, I'm totally committed to making the public school system work. I think it's essential to the future of our state. I worked with the Thomas County School Board for 14 years. My wife was a teacher. She has 27 years experience. I have a son and a daughter-in-law that both work in the school system. I will do absolutely everything I can to make sure that school systems have the money they need. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing I really believe. I believe the federal government needs to get out of the school business. I believe that best decisions are made at the local level. And I believe that those folks that go in the classroom every day and teach are the ones that need to be making those kinds of decisions. The best education decisions are made at the local level. I don't think most people in Washington have a clue what goes on and what is good for Southwest Georgia.
Congressman Bishop, 16 seconds to rebut.
I believe that education is the most important investment we can make in our country. It drives economic development, and of course, it is our future. Young people make up 40% of the population, they're 100% of our future. We need to expand access so everyone has a chance to succeed. We need to invest in new technology in the schools. We need to strengthen our schools, and because our state budget had to be cut and teachers are being laid off because they're not able to buy books and supplies, and the teacher-pupil ratio has increased dramatically. It is necessary. We in the federal government owe that to all of the people in this country. Don't slip from the top 5 to number 16 in mathematics and in reading. It's ridiculous for us to allow America not to be competitive. If we don't invest in our children now, they will not be able to compete in the global marketplace in the years to come.
Senator Cowan, 30 seconds for response.
Well, I think it's less than 10% of the state education budget comes from the federal government, and yet they pull all the strings. You know, they tell us exactly what to do. I think we have dumbed down the curriculum to teach the test. To test. We know No Child Left Behind doesn't work, hasn't worked, and isn't going to work, and we need to get rid of it.
What? You still have 15 seconds if you like.
I'm done.
Thank you. We need decorum, folks. Congressman Bishop, you get the next question. Job creation and the economy remains the top issue for most voters this election year. The unemployment rate nationally was 9.5% in July, while it was 9.9% in Georgia. Georgia's labor force shrank by over 21,000 as the long-term unemployed became discouraged and gave up their job searches. What is your view of the federal government's role in job creation? And what steps would encourage business to hire more workers?
First of all, the role of the federal government is to try to create an atmosphere that will cause the private sector to work and to create opportunities for people to make a living and raise their families. I've tried to do that. I'm fortunate that I'm able to serve on the Appropriations Committee. I've been able to earmark appropriations, for example, to create jobs in Mitchell County for a poultry plant, in Dooley County for a poultry plant employing thousands. Also here in Fort Benning, with the Plus Up of BRAC, I happen to serve on the Military Construction Subcommittee, which funds BRAC. Well, it's no accident, because I was at the table when BRAC was being done, so that Fort Benning had the infrastructure, meet all the requirements, so when BRAC came, we would have a plus-up in and that will be $3.5 billion in 3 years that will be spent right here. And that's why this economy here is bustling. Jobs are being created here that are not being created elsewhere. The same thing happened at our Marine base with Brack Bear. I believe that the federal government has to do its part to create jobs. I believe that we're waiting now for the Senate to pass the Small Business Development Act, $30 billion, which will allow community banks to be able to invest in small businesses so they can hire more people. Small businesses drive the economy, and they employ about 60% of the people in the economy, and we've got to keep that growing.
Representative Fallon, you have 60 seconds to rebut.
I think we all know that small businesses are essential to the recovery of this economy. I work as your congressman to reduce and eliminate taxes on individuals and businesses, keep more money in your pocket so that you can build a business or promote a business. I'll include someone on my staff whose mission is solely to help create jobs in the 2nd District. They'll be charged with working with the state and local folks through the federal government to provide incentives for businesses located in Southwest Georgia. Right now, if we look at what's hurting us, Alabama's killing us right now. We need to make sure that we're not at a disadvantage in Georgia to bring business and keep businesses. We need to bring them here, but we also need to keep the ones that we already have here. We need to reach out to them and make sure we don't leave them hanging. Thank you.
I wish that our legislature would provide the incentives for businesses to come here so that we can entice those companies who want to locate here, give them the assistance and infrastructure. Unfortunately, we lost several big plants because our state government, our governor's office, was unwilling to make those incentives available for those companies, so they located in Alabama. What we need to do is to make sure that we provide the incentives, and what we've tried to do on the federal level across the country is to lower taxes for small businesses and for businesses so that they can be prosperous.